Hello Internet! In this video I wanted to make a way for us to actually track the speed that we are moving in Asteroids VR. So right now you can kind of zoom around like this throughout the game, but I have no idea how fast you're going in this, and that would be really nice to know because yeah. And by tracking this, we can actually do some cool effects with the speed. Like you can see right now, I've added some trail effects, trail renders onto each of the controllers. So if you're going somewhere, you can kind of see where you've been. I kind of want those to only show up when you're moving really fast, because otherwise what can happen is, if I can get this in the right spot, you can kind of like do this in front of your face if you're looking at the game view, and it looks kind of odd. It's even worse in the actual headset because you can fill your entire screen with just these line renders, and that's not great. So that's sort of why I'm doing this, but also it's just handy to debug if you know how fast the player is going. So let's do that. I don't think it's going to be too hard. What I want to do is just embed a display that actually shows it. I don't know where that'll go. There's really two options, I think. One is like in front of your face, and the other is like on your arm somewhere. Just so like you can look down and see it, or it will just always show it. And this is more for debugging than anything else. So I'm thinking, what if we grab your right hand and put this as like underneath it? So if you turn the controller over, you'll see all this debug information. I feel like that might be a handy way to kind of see some of this stuff that's going on without actually like being too intrusive into what you're actually doing, and then we can kind of build on this more as things go on. So let's add just a canvas to the right hand and set this to a world space canvas and make it much smaller. I'm going to be the first to say that I am not experienced with the new, it's not even new anymore, just with Unity's UI system, this canvas render stuff. It's just not my thing. So we will see how this goes. But I think if we zero the positions and then keep all the widths and things, we'll end up with some massive box centered on our controller. And we actually want to rotate that. You can kind of see we have the thruster out the back there, and then our Y up is that green arrow. So that's actually the top. We want this on the bottom. So we should be able to rotate this on the X. And now we have our Z coordinate going down. So if we lower this down just a bit, that's more than a bit. There we go. We now have this plane just underneath our controller. So it should be on the bottom of the controller. We'll have this canvas plane, which is going to be a little bit weird to work with because it's sort of like this for it to get right. And that inverts everything on my mouse for rotation, but we'll work with it. Event camera may not register events. That should be fine. I'm going to leave that for now. This doesn't need to really handle any of that. Graphics raycaster, I don't think we need that either. So this is, if I'm remembering correctly, this is used for actually detecting like what's selected and what's not. Don't think we need that, but we're going to leave that as well. And so the first thing, just to get this started and kind of prove that we've done something, we're going to add a text box with white text that is going to say new text. New text works. We'll scale it up just a bit, just so it's slightly easier to see, hopefully. It's not any easier to see. It might be hard to see, actually. There we go. New text. It's upside down. Is it upside down? Yes. That's fine. We'll work with that. Right now the goal is just to actually like get this to work. I don't know which one is my right hand. There we go. This is the right hand. So we have the new text just attached there. I don't particularly care for this demo, like where it's oriented. We can just, that's just rotation stuff, so we're not going to worry about that. All we need now is to actually track the speed of the player and assign it to this text, just so that we have some way of seeing what's going on. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to grab the velocity's magnitude off of this rigid body. So we are going to write some super scrappy tracking code. Sure. We'll just put it here and say track player speed. Again, this is more of a debugging thing than anything else. We really just want to grab that and then be able to see it so we can use it in future things to kind of judge like how fast you're going and what makes sense for other abilities. So we have start, update. What we really want is not that. We want a text. Ooh, I do not remember the name of the text object. It's definitely not a text asset. I know that. It's not a text asset. But that's the only one that makes sense. UI. So let's do Unity editor engine, .UI.Text. There we go, found it. And so let's add this to our using statement just to be sure. There's that. Let's make this public. And we're just going to assign both of these by ourselves, just so we can put the script kind of anywhere. And then we can fix this up. A lot of the things with this project are kind of like scrappy initially, and we'll get better. So this will be our text renderer and public rigid body of tracked rigid body. And all we want to do is assign, what do we want? We want kilometers per hour and meters per second. I think those are like the two things. And then I can do like quick calculations that are completely wrong to kind of translate that into miles per hour because American. But yeah, so let's do float velocity speed. Sure. Equals our tracked rigid body dot velocity dot magnitude. That gets us our magnitude. That's going to be the length of this vector per second, which actually just turns into float meters per second, which is going to be speed. Cool. That one's done. And then we need miles or kilometers per hour. Got there in the end. Kilometers per hour, which is going to be equal to our speed. So that's meters per second. We need to convert this into kilometers. So divide this by 1,000, 0.0f, and then that gets us into kilometers. That's, yeah. And then we need to get into miles or minutes and then into hours. So times 60 to get us into minutes. So from seconds to minutes, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So we multiply by 60, and then there are 60. That was almost really bad. I almost screwed that up. 60 minutes in an hour. So both of these get multiplied together, and then that converts from seconds up into minutes and then into hours. And then we divide by 1,000 to get us kilometers, and we should be good. I think my math is correct. We'll find out, because these numbers will either make a lot of sense or they will be very wrong. So then what we want is our text render dot text equal to these two values, and then we should be good. At least I hope we're good. So this will be, can we do fancy C# things? Let's try. So this will be our meters per second. Cool. Seems to work. Well, I guess Visual Studio Code knows what I want. Unity might not. We'll do meters per second, and then just two spaces, a dash, and then kilometers per hour, and kph. Cool. So this is just assigning it straight to the text, and we should get those values back out. Let's swap this out for a bar instead, just because why not? And so hopefully we'll see that change like so when we start. So we will see new text because I didn't assign anything. That's kind of important, isn't it? So let's actually assign this like we're meant to, and bring in our rigid body, attach that, and attach our text. Okay, that should be good now. And now we need our right hand. I believe this is the right one. It's on my right, so we're good. They're both at 0. And so we can actually see on the text in the inspector, which might be a little bit easier to track, but we can actually go fast. And we end up at like only 15 kilometers per hour. That seems really slow. But I guess that kind of makes some sense. But that we should go faster than that, because that's like middle of the city speed. That's too slow. We should go faster. We can tweak that, but I think we're in a good spot where this whole tracking thing works, and then I can tweak the actual speed later to make you go super fast. Because right now it's actually very controllable, and when you gun both of your thrusters in one direction, I want it to be just on the verge of like completely out of control, but still fun. And I haven't found that yet. We're still tweaking those values. So I'll leave it here. I think that's really all I want. We're going to be building on this. Like I said, there's those trails left behind. I want to have those toggle on and off when you reach some sort of maximum or higher speed level. And so when you're just like hanging out in the middle of the screen, they aren't just like hanging in front of you. So that's that, I think. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, see you, internet.